Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am super thrilled to have you with us today because we are unpacking a really powerful blueprint for financial freedom. We're going to break down some incredibly insightful source material. And honestly, I want to kick things off by jumping straight into a profound, maybe even a little bit uncomfortable question about your financial future.
So think about this for a second. What if most people never become financially free? I know, your very first instinct might be to think, oh, it's just a matter of intelligence, or they just aren't working hard enough. But the text we're digging into today reveals something completely fascinating. This lack of freedom, it's actually not because people aren't smart, and it is certainly not because they aren't working hard. It's because they're stuck in a hidden system. It's a cycle they don't even realize they're in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The invisible financial trap. The cycle keeping you dependent on the next paycheck.
All right, so this is the default path. You know it, I know it. Think of it like an invisible treadmill that most people are walking on every single day without ever looking down to realize they literally aren't moving forward. You go to school, you get a job, you earn a paycheck, you spend most of it, and then you just repeat, month after month, year after year. Now, the absolutely crucial takeaway here isn't that the system is broken. Actually, it functions exactly as it was built to function. But as our source points out, it was simply never designed to make everyone wealthy. It's designed to keep the machine running. So if you're on this treadmill, your effort is really just powering the belt.
Which brings us to Section 2. The time versus money problem. The fatal flaw in the default path. Right, so on one hand, we've got the average approach, which relies entirely on exchanging your time for money. But on the other hand, we see its fundamental flaw. Time is strictly limited. It is a mathematical impossibility to outwork a system where your income is directly tied to a finite resource. Think about it. If you only earn money when you are actively trading your hours, you have instantly put a hard, unbreakable ceiling on what you can actually achieve.
And that ceiling is the number 24. It's a stark, unbending reality of the universe. Honestly, no matter how incredibly hard you work, no matter how much you hustle, or how completely dedicated you are, there are only 24 hours in a day. It's literally the one thing we all have in common with billionaires, right? We all get the exact same 24 hours. The difference isn't in how hard we work during those hours, it's how we leverage them. Your earning potential on the default path is permanently capped simply because you cannot create more time to trade for more money.
So let's flip the script. Section 3. Building income-generating assets, the wealth paradigm and decoupling income from time.
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. The mindsets are night and day. The average approach focuses entirely on trading time, but the wealthy approach, it focuses purely on building assets. This is the absolute key to escaping the cycle. The wealthy totally understand that you have to completely decouple your ability to earn from the physical hours you spend awake and working. You literally have to step off that treadmill and start building a machine of your very own.
Now, to really grasp this, we need to define our terms clearly, straight from the source text. Assets are things that make money even when you're not actively working, creating value long after the initial effort. Understanding this definition fundamentally changes the entire equation of your life. An asset is basically something you put effort into once or over a really focused period, and then it just continues to work for you in the background. It works while you sleep, while you travel, or while you're busy building the next asset.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, here are some very specific examples from our source text. A business, a valuable skill, content that you create, investments, digital products. These give you concrete, real-world targets to aim for. Just think about it. If you write a piece of software or create a comprehensive digital course, you build it one time, but it can be purchased and downloaded thousands of times by people all over the entire world while you are literally sitting down having dinner. Or take a high-leverage skill like copywriting. You write the sales page once, but it generates revenue for a company indefinitely. These are the specific tools that shatter the chain between your time and your bank account.
Let's move to Section 4, the danger of immediate results, why most people get stuck and quit.
Let's map out the typical and frankly doomed beginner's journey. Week 1, you are highly motivated. You drink way too much coffee, you start that side hustle, you dive right into learning a new skill. Then we hit week 3. Progress feels painfully slow. It seems like absolutely nothing is happening. And by week 6, well, you realize watching TV is a whole lot easier and you quit. It's a highly relatable trap, isn't it? This timeline perfectly shows how the obsession with immediate speed absolutely kills long-term success. People start creating content, nobody watches right away, and so they just throw in the towel.
But our source imparts a really vital, reassuring truth here. Success usually looks extremely boring in the beginning. No likes, no money, no recognition, just consistent effort. I really want to reassure you that if you're experiencing 0 followers and $0 at first, that is not failure. That is just the normal starting line. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a filter. Think of that boring phase as an evolutionary mechanism that actively keeps out your competition. Everyone else quits when it gets boring, which leaves the playing field completely wide open for you if you just keep going.
Which leads us to Section 5, the power of consistent action, reframing the path to freedom.
Now, what's really interesting here is the proof that staying power, not raw intelligence, dictates success. Every single successful entrepreneur was a beginner at some point. Every massive creator started with exactly 0 followers. Every highly paid expert was once completely unknown. The single defining difference? They didn't stop. The people who eventually succeed aren't always the smartest people in the room. They are simply the ones who absolutely refuse to quit when the process gets boring.
So here is the true progression of wealth creation laid out for you. It's totally a compounding journey. You start by building a valuable skill. As you refine that skill, it naturally creates new opportunities. You then leverage those specific opportunities to generate independent income. And finally, you use that income wisely to create the ultimate goal, absolute freedom. If you want a different financial future, our source strongly advises you to stop asking how fast you can get rich and start focusing intensely on building that first domino, that very first valuable skill. I want you to really absorb this powerful thesis statement directly from the text. Your future is built by what you repeatedly do today. Escaping the cycle isn't about luck. The people who break free aren't just lucky. They understand this profound truth. It is all about the small, unglamorous actions you take day after day that compound over time into massive, life-changing results. A year from now, you will either be glad you started or you'll wish you had. So, looking closely at your current daily habits, which of those two people will you be? The time is going to pass anyway. Start small, but start now. So what is the very first asset you are going to build today? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.